ready.
Live. With English audio translation available.
we need subtitles.
I'm gonna need it.
This is the first time we have someone on that we probably can't understand.
No one can understand you sometimes, Mark.
Yeah, I don't.
What language do you speak?
Hey, at least I don't try to use big words like you do.
I try. I hear all the talking behind my back in class, like he's a doctor, quote unquote, all the fucking time.
You played golf today, didn't you?
I did, dude. That's what doctors do on their day off.
Fucking
They play golf and try to strike deals, and
country club and shit.
I'm all sunburned from it and tired.
Why don't you
Sun's been
do a
killing
real
me.
sport like jiu-jitsu? That's how we'll start this podcast. Why
I thought he was doing.
No.
I'm mentally weak, man. I need to move back up here because, like, it's a long drive for me.
Bob said you were a blue belt?
I was.
Really?
Yeah.
Where? Who? When?
I was a blue belt.
A fake-ass blue belt.
I was a blue belt under Sam
for
Crescent. Shout out Sam Crescent. He was a lineage of Chris Howder. You know Chris Howder?
Chris Howard.
White guy.
Nope.
Yeah, one under Machado, I think. One of them. One of Machado's.
What area was that?
It was in Carlsbad. He still has a gym that he runs out of his garage with a few of the guys I used to train with that are like up into purple and brown belts now. It's been like 8 years for them. But yeah, he trains out of his garage in Carlsbad. Same thing, I stopped going to him because it's Carlsbad. It's a far drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, let's introduce Leo. Leo, how do we say your full name?
Leonardo.
What?
Leonardo.
And last name?
Campelo.
Oh. Say it full.
Campelo.
Yeah,
Say the full thing.
Leonardo Cunha Rodrigues Campelo.
Yeah, see, there's always like
Holy
6
shit.
Brazilian names. The hell?
Mark
Cunha from my mother and Rodrigues Campelo from my father. I don't know why two names from them to look fancy or something, but two.
All those names, and he's like, nah, it's just Leo.
Yeah.
From Gracie Humaita.
Yeah.
Do we say that right?
Yeah, Gracie Maita. Actually, don't say Gracie, right? We say Gracie.
What's the difference?
Gracie Maita.
It sounded the same.
Gracie Maita.
Gracie Maita.
Gracie Maita.
It's Gracie Barra, right?
I just
How do you say it?
I just say Gracie Poway.
Yeah,
Just
Gracie
'cause-
Poway. We'll keep it that way.
At the beginning, I was saying like Poway.
No.
Rodrigo was like cursing me. What?
It's
Poway. Okay. It's hard for me, man, especially the names here, man. With the kids.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
you're writing on the.
That's hard. That's hard for us too, man. Like
Wow.
people name their kids weird stuff.
In Brazil, it's just like Paulo, Marcos, Bernardo,
Yeah.
Antônio, João.
Everyone named that.
Here, Rhetoric, Redis,
Yeah.
Rain.
When did you come to the States? What did you just say about Canada? You went to Canada first?
Yeah, Canada was my first time out of Brazil. That was 1999.
Oh wow.
So
How long
last millennium, right?
Yeah.
Last century, last millennium, right?
So you're in Canada the whole time, since '99?
No. That just lasted for 8 months.
Oh, okay.
The adventure in there in Toronto.
Got it.
And I
So
went
first time in U.S. or no, first time out of
out of Brazil.
Canada for 8 months.
Canada for 8 months, Toronto, 1999. Internet was like just sending emails and waiting for the reply, you know.
Yeah.
And in Brazil, not a lot of 1999. Not a lot of people had computers at home, so they just had like the work, and they need to find some free time, you know, to go respond their personal emails, you know what I mean. So.
Did you
An
go
email
there?
could take like a week to have a reply. So my mind was really working in English in there. So then,
Did you go there for just visit, or did you go there to train?
no, my good friend Daniel Moroni, he went to Brazil to stay there for a month, and then we met, became friends in the academy, training together, blah blah blah. And then whenever you want to go to Canada, stay with us. You can teach at our academy, have an academy there, blah blah blah. Oh, cool. And then
Did you go from Canada to here to the States?
no.
And back to Brazil?
Back to Brazil. I went to Porto Alegre in the south for another 8 months with Márcio Corleta, that was a few times world champion for a BJJF. That's the biggest. And after that, I went back to Rio again, and then I went to live in Teresópolis, which is a city next to Rio. 1 hour and a half drive up in the mountains, and I was supposed to stay for 2 months because I was supposed to be going to Hawaii to teach in there in a hotel there. They had that project, blah blah blah. But then the thing didn't work, and then I ended up with this good friend Marcelo Freitas. We met once in Rio, like another good friend introduced us. Oh, that's Marcelo, that's Leo, nice to meet you, blah blah blah. And then after a few months, we met him right in front of the place that I was living, like I don't know where, you know.
Yeah.
And they didn't even recognize him. Hey, Leo, remember me from? Oh yeah. And then I started training at his academy, and with time he asked me to restart the morning time in at his academy because he was at the university studying.
Is that the
physical
first
education.
time you started teaching jiu-jitsu?
No. Yeah, by myself with a black belt. Yeah, but since I was a blue belt, my teacher on that time, Silver Bering, he naturally started making me like a instructor. Monitor.
Yeah.
I didn't teach. I was just repeating what he would tell me to do.
So let's talk about that timeline for you.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start jiu-jitsu, and how many years did it take you to get your black belt?
Okay.
Just the years, like about what year did you start?
Yeah, that took. I was 18 when I began, and I was.
Oh shit! Here's math. Get ready.
Yeah. Oh, wait a second. I got my black one 2004. Okay, so I began on 1992.
92.
90. 92 was in São Paulo. 1990.
24 years. Wait.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right?
No. 1999 to 2004, 14
Oh, shit,
years.
14
Oh,
years.
14.
14
There you go.
years.
I think so. I thought you said
14 years.
1990. 14 years, yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. Training like what, 5-6 days a week,
Yeah.
7.
That depends, because on that long time, a lot of things happen in your life, right?
Yeah.
As I say, I moved here, there, blah, blah, blah. When, 8 months in Canada, it was a movie in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All my life changed to stay there for that time,
Yeah.
Same in Porto Alegre, same in Teresópolis, and then Abu Dhabi, and then I went to US for another 6 months in Texas, and here in California since last June.
Yeah, how'd you get connected with Rodrigo?
We are good friends when he began at this gym
Yeah.
with Silver Bering. I was already a blue belt, starting to help as an instructor, helping him how to teach.
Was Rodrigo under him too?
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
But so his first class was with me,
Mm-hmm.
not teaching, but like the partner.
Yeah.
And also Steve was teaching, and I was doing things with him because
Yeah.
he was big. You know how big he is.
Yeah.
He was on that side. He was that tall on that side on that time already. Not so
Yeah.
strong, but.
So
and-
Rodrigo is the primary owner for Gracie
Yeah,
Poway,
yeah.
and then
He invited me to come here to. Actually, I was supposed to have a new one, but we agreed that we had to do some moves, some
Yeah.
changes at the academy, and we decided to be partners at the first one, and then
and now you
we
guys
think
are
another-
partners for this one.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
And then I asked you once before, but I wanted to go over it in this format, was
Mhm.
the difference between a Gracie Humaita and a Gracie Barra.
Barra.
Baja.
Barra.
Baja. I don't even
Say-
try, man.
Yeah, I don't even
I
try.
don't
That's what I'm saying.
Barra.
especially if you have 2 R's.
Oh, okay.
With 1 R could sound like barra.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's-
2 R's, Baja.
Baja.
I thought it was Barra.
But what? Can you
Uh,
talk about the lineage behind that?
okay.
I love that story.
They're together, Ilio and Carlos Gracie at the Gracie Academy in downtown,
In where at?
in Rio
In Rio.
downtown. 19, I'm not sure, but 20 something, 30 something, you know. And they started to have issues between them, and then they split, Carlos and Ilio. So and Carlinhos Gracie Jr. was
Helio's son?
no Carlos' son,
Oh, okay.
and Hickson, Hoyler,
Yeah.
they were Ilio's son.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then Carlinhos, he was with Carson Grace together in Copacabana, because they were from Carlos Grace, Carson and Carlos Jr., Carlos Grace Jr. And then they were together, but then they had problems, and then Carlinhos moved to Barra. That's a neighborhood. So Barra is a neighborhood in Rio. So he moved there and began to teach inside a gym, gymnastic gym, you know, not a CrossFit but workout gym.
Okay.
He had like a room in there, and he was teaching there. And so, but he began to get really big when he did the Confederation, and he started to make more organized
Competitions?
the competitions.
Got it.
Yeah, so you said the Ba, they were becoming like more competition like, and Humaita was more like lifestyle.
Of course, because imagine that your teacher is the president of the Confederation.
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense.
Even to go compete is really easy, you know. Just put your name in there, and you know.
Yeah.
So is the difference in terms of like the history with the Humaita and the Baja? It's just because they started at, like, that's what the area is called. That's where the street's called.
Yeah,
that's where they got
Baja
their
is a
name.
neighborhood, and Humaita is another neighborhood.
So to differentiate back then when there was only a couple, right? Two. It's like that's when they split.
2 and
right?
3, yeah.
But that's why.
Because then,
They're all called that way.
like when I began, was Gracie Barra, Gracie Maita, and Carson Gracie.
Okay.
They're winning a lot too. They had a good big team, you know, and they're very big. And then they started to have more, and then became Alliance. That was Jacaré. He's under another Grace. I forgot his name right now. And he did a very good student that was called Fabio Gurgel, and he started to win many tournaments and Vale Tudo fights. And then they got someone else together, Alexandre Paiva, that was like a student from Jacaré too, and they did Alliance, which is really big today.
Oh, Gracie Alliance is another one?
No, it's not even called Grace, just Alliance.
Oh, just Alliance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They're really big now. you
Yeah.
know.
What was the story you told me about the one, the guy that challenged his professor?
Oh,
That was a Humaita story, wasn't it?
actually it was a Grace downtown story. That was on the Grace Academy time. You know, they were not split on that time.
Oh, okay.
You know, they were all together. Carlos and Ilio were together. And this guy, Valdemar Santana, he was a black guy, you know, really big, tall, you know. Because in Brazil, especially on that time, 70 kilos, that would be times 2.2.
Yeah, 150 something.
150, 140 something, 150. That's a medium weight in there.
Yeah.
So if you're 80, on that time, you're like huge, you know. If you see the pictures from even the weightlifters on that time, they're like us, you know, today, you know. So this guy was very strong, and he was a student from the Gracie Academy. So he knew Jiu-Jitsu. You know, he was training there every day. He worked there and was training there. And then I don't know what happened to him, and he decided to challenge Helio Gracie.
How big was Helio Gracie? I have no idea.
Oh, he was
About
67 kilos.
60 to 70 kilos?
No, 67 kilos.
67 kilos. How tall about?
Maybe my size 5'2".
5'8", 5'9"? How?
No, I think I'm 5'8". 5'2"? Is it possible? I'm 173. I don't know about your.
He was like a medium
here.
guy. He was
Yeah.
a medium guy.
Okay.
So
He's not-
he was
He's like
not
5'8".
tall and really skinny.
Okay.
Really skinny.
But you
And-
said that.
But that was what makes him famous.
Right.
Because it was just fighting bigger guys always.
Yeah.
And beating them. Not with punching, not with hitting, but by submission, by choking out, by making them tap.
Yeah.
Like in a fight, if you tap, it's especially on that time.
Yeah.
Your moral, it's like.
Because that story he was telling me was like, he fought the professor like for
He chal-
respect.
I
yeah.
mean, well, back
And when he did that, when he challenged, Ilya was 42 years old, and the guy was 20 something.
And big and strong and
Big and strong and new in the same technique.
that was how Gracie Jiu-Jitsu kind of started before UFC. I heard they just started challenging everyone.
Yeah.
They welcome any challenge.
Yeah, no, and they have, as I've heard, because my teacher's father was a student at the Disgrace Academy in downtown, Master Flavio Bering.
Mm-hmm.
So he said that on that time, every Monday night, there are fights inside the academy. People knew in the city,
That's so wild.
That's
So
crazy.
like capoeira guys,
Anybody, right? Just
it didn't
karate
have
guys.
Muay Thai on that time, but maybe karate guys, judo guys,
Yeah.
they'll come to try, take your gear off,
You just
you
fight.
know,
This-
just fight,
this goes
bare
back-
hands and go.
This goes back to what we were talking about with Bob, that we have no external stressors. Like, our stressors are like me getting upset that our cleaner didn't do a good job.
Or I'm stuck in traffic.
My
or-
Wi-Fi was unplugged.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in traffic. I'm late. These guys are like, a karate guy might come whoop the shit out of me on a Monday night.
They're like
I gotta
living.
go to work
They're
tomorrow.
like living the movie Bloodsport. Or whatever.
Yeah,
Every Monday.
yeah.
So it's changed, man. It's changed a lot, but
Yeah.
that's just crazy. Like, the history of martial arts is awesome. That's what's so cool about it. Like, he was telling me that story for like 10 minutes. I was like, I wish we were just recording it, and it was going more in depth, but
Yeah.
So I think I heard the story. So to like sum it up, that guy challenged Helio, right? And then
they fought.
for how long did they fight for?
3 hours and 40 minutes.
I roll for like 4 minutes, and I'm like,
They just rolled for like 4 hours still. And then like there was
Into
dispute.
death, like.
Yeah, yeah.
And they said that Ilya had fever before. Because
Yeah.
he had some kind of infection for something. I don't know
I love
exactly
all the
what.
legends behind
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Fever, but he still rolled 4 hours.
Yeah.
42 years old.
So it was like debatable whether who won or whatever, but that's when they started splitting.
Because they said, I heard from the students that Ilya got him in a choke or something. He was about to tap, and then Carlos Gracie, his brother, said, no. Keep beating him, give him a lesson.
Make him pay.
Make him pay.
Wow.
That's right.
And then he let go and kept beating him, and then he got another submission, don't remember what. And again, no, keep beating him, give him a lesson. And then he started to get tired after,
Yeah.
3 hours and 40 minutes,
And then he ended up losing, right?
Yeah.
How did he end up
Questionable,
losing?
though.
Huh?
How did Helio lose? Like, what was the final?
The guy was inside his guard and just headbutting him
Oh my
from
God.
inside the
It's
guard on
controversial.
his chin.
That's
And then
insane.
he separated.
Yeah.
Like
Create space.
feet on,
Yeah.
space, feet on the head, blah blah blah. And I think he was standing or something, and the guy kicked his head, and he passed out.
Oh my
That's
God.
how the fight was over.
Just
You know
another
what I
Monday
mean?
night at the Greasy Academy.
So he wouldn't quit. You know what I mean? He
That
wouldn't
is
take it.
crazy.
You know.
That's nuts.
You have to make me pass out to beat me. You know
Man,
what I
times
mean?
have changed. I'm like,
Yeah.
someone's on top of me on mount, and I can't breathe, and I'm like claustrophobic.
Yeah, you're like, should I tap?
Oh my gosh, I can't breathe.
Should I tap? I can't really
He's
breathe
getting
right now.
headbutted
But
and
that's-
kicked in the face.
4
That
hours
is
into
the problem now, right? There
Yeah.
will be more the times, I think.
Well,
that-
so once he lost that fight, right? This is like the legends and stuff, right? So then
and
what
then
happened?
the family felt challenged,
Yeah.
dishonored, blah blah blah, and then they looked for someone inside the family to fight Valdemar, and this guy was Carson Grace,
Got it.
which had like 18, 20 years old, something like that, and then he fought and he beat Valdemar Santana. Then they started, so
He's
Carson's
the main
number
guy
one in the
now.
family.
Got it.
And then Ilya said, no. First one is my son, Hickson. and then
The
they split.
Whoa.
The Hickson legend can go on for days too, but
I can only imagine all the other inside stories.
Yeah,
There's a bunch,
I
man.
asked him that question because I was asking him the difference between Humaita and Baja, because I was telling him here in the States, especially in San Diego, that the Baja was like franchised really quickly, especially when UFC
Yeah.
came and Gracie was starting to make its scene on there. It was
Yeah.
like a boom of like
Yeah.
Gracie Bajas everywhere. So the first time I met Leo, and I was like, oh wait, like the way he was talking about jiu-jitsu and stuff, I was like, it doesn't feel the same. Like it was not like, and then the kids program is huge at their their school in Poway, and then your kids go there, Dan's kids go there.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's going, like same thing kind of like when I first met with you, and I was like, what's going on at that CrossFit gym, man? Because like it seems different than everybody else that I'm talking to. And then same thing with Gracie Humaita. I was like, it doesn't feel like the Gracie Baja where it's like competition team.
Yeah. As I see, even the teaching is very different.
Yeah.
On both. Because we focus more on the fundamentals, you know, self-defense. You gotta learn to defend yourself.
Yeah.
And then you grow from there.
Yeah.
Whatever you want, whatever we want. But first, we have to make sure that you can defend yourself.
Yep.
And I believe that in there, they are more focused just on what works for competitions, you know, first. You know, and then I don't see any self-defense in there. You know, any. So
What did we? I mean, you've been going a lot more than I have lately. But what was the class we took? We just went over with Leo. How to fall,
Yeah, so-
base up.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I've done jiu-jitsu before I opened my gym. I think I told that story, but in my garage, I was doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, some MMA, and then so I've had jiu-jitsu experience, right? But then when we took Leo's class, you and I went in during a noon class, and you said blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and you've had wrestling background, and then it blew our minds because we spent that whole hour on like 2 or 3 fundamental movements.
Yeah.
Not even a technique. When people think fundamentals, they probably think like armbar, triangle. We were learning how to side break fall, learning how to crack our heads if we were to, do a backwards roll properly.
Yeah.
And all these other.
We didn't live roll.
We didn't live roll.
No.
Even
And
like
I was exhausted still. I was sweating plenty. I woke up the next day, my abs were sore. I was like, this is what we've been talking about, right? Like Mark and I have been saying, like, no one knows how to use their core. No one knows how, everyone just gets tweaked because they do go to maybe they go to like a Gracie Baja or another class where it's like competition team. We're rolling tonight for 30 minutes. And it's like, I got a guy, I have patients that come in from other jiu-jitsu places. There's another Humaita down the way. And I saw a guy recently with a strained neck, like he couldn't turn the next day because he's like, I didn't tap. And I'm like, you're rolling hard. I mean, that's part of the sport, right?
Yeah.
But still, his mentality was like, he wants his blue belt. That's what he's working hard for. But at your gym, I mean, we got Dan doing a tournament soon, and he's like looking like the best shape of his life right now. And he's super stoked. He's feeling good.
I think it's difficult because there's that, like, when you go in, some people do want to compete. There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
It's perfect. But then there's also some people like Leo that want to teach the art of it, the self-defense part.
Yeah.
Or even if you want to compete, you should probably learn the fundamentals first.
Yeah.
So, like, even when we took some of the classes, I'm like, we're spending a lot of time breaking down the bridge or the oompa.
Uh-huh.
And if you can't do that effectively, then, like, everything else after that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong, It's like something so simple that people are like, oh, I don't want to learn that, or I want to learn something fancy.
Yeah.
Like a flying armbar or
something new.
Something crazy.
That no one knows.
Yeah.
Just me.
And
right?
But
then you cannot even put your foot on the hip. Don't even know how to open your guard properly, you know what I mean?
That's what we were doing, right? One of the classes, we were just keeping our feet on the hips to make sure that we can create space.
Yeah.
That you can't, like, punch me in the face.
Yeah.
Moving our core to shift around.
And then from there you can put anything on top of that, because then you understood about distance, about how to make it bigger or shorter as you want. After you understand that, anything else got much easier for you.
And I think the problem is too, because back then we were just practicing in our garage, so we learned everything off of like YouTube or DVDs. And all the things you find on YouTube and DVDs are not fundamentals; they're like the new fancy techniques.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. We're finding a new ways
That's
to
how a lot
win.
That's how a lot of gyms were too, though. Like, are you talking like 2007, 8, 9?
Yeah,
When
around
UFC
there.
was like really booming. Like
Yep,
all these gyms that they're not around anymore. I went to an MMA gym, and got upkicked in the face on like a Tuesday night by like this giant dude. There was a guy, he actually did have like a pro fight coming. This was MMA class, you know. So I was like, all right, I know jiu-jitsu. Oh, actually, I wasn't training jiu-jitsu yet. It was just fresh off of like wrestling.
Uh-huh.
And there's this big dude, and he was like on TV and stuff for commercials for this fight coming up. And but on the commercial, he was getting head kicked, knocked out. So they'd be like, "This is the guy on TV," and I'd be like, every time I saw the commercial, I'd laugh. I'm like, "He's getting knocked out by a UFC fighter."
Yeah.
Like at a local San Diego MMA event. But anyway, he had another match coming up, so like it was his conditioning time, and like I'll never forget, like he was just like laying down like on his back, and everybody, it was like round robin. You know, just you go in for a minute,
Training for him,
tap
for his
him.
fight.
As soon as he's out, fresh body, right? Like, he just kept throwing fresh bodies on him. And I went in, and I was like, you know, like 19, like still in good shape from wrestling. So I was like just wrestling him and frustrating him because he was tired, obviously, and I was half of his size.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, wait till I get you next time, like when I'm not in this bullshit, like situation or whatever. And I was like sitting there like, okay. So my dumbass shows up the next day, and they're doing it again, and I come in, and he's on his back, and he up kicked me in the fucking chin.
Wow.
This is your second day?
Like my second day ever.
Wow.
And I was just like, what the hell? And I look over at the coach like, what the hell, dude? Like, I'm not even throwing strikes. I was just grappling him, and he was frustrated that he couldn't get out.
Yeah.
Up kicked me in the face, dude. And he was like, he was tall too.
Yeah.
So like the length, I was like, didn't gauge it right, and I was like, boom.
Wow.
I dropped down, and I was like, what the hell? And I was like, if this
Why?
is the grind that you hear like all the MMA guys talk about, that they just show up tomorrow and it's like in the trenches, I was like, I'm out, dude. Like, I'm going to school right now. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's the big discussion, right? It's like you go in, you're just looking to learn some self-defense. Or
Yeah.
enjoy.
I was just trying to stay in shape.
Stay in shape.
Yeah.
Find a hobby that can keep you in shape,
Yeah.
right? And then you get kicked in the face, and you're like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not trying to be an MMA fighter like this guy. Of course, he went on to his fight and lost, and I was just like so happy. Like, fuck that guy. But anyway, I eventually found, when I found my buddy Sam, like I got referred to him from a friend, and it was like a tiny gym of like 12 people, and we're all good friends, and we all just trained like twice a day with each other. And
Yeah.
but we had a good
idea.
It was fun, but even like taking your intro or my first class with you, I felt like I was like in an intro class. Like I was like, holy crap, like I know I haven't rolled in a while, but this is stuff I've never actually stopped and looked at, the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you and Mark connected really well, and that's how Mark's gym is run. You know, I know all the accessory Mark is going to go over. Like if he's like, okay guys, we're going to grab this PVC pipe, we're going to go over the fundamentals, and I'm going to apply FixFit to it. I'm like, I know everything Mark's going to say already, but I still listen and I still do it, and I still learn something different every single time because he's constantly evolving it himself, right?
Yeah.
So I can imagine that that's what you're seeing with when you go to Leo's classes.
Yeah, the discussion was, I think he was referred by you. He was coming to see you probably first, and then I think you were seeing
first to
Ian, and then you referred him to me, and then since day
You
one,
told me I was too weak, I shouldn't go,
yeah.
go see you.
and then so you came.
You were competing. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You were doing a lot
I
of
was
fights.
out of shape, had to compete.
You had to compete.
Yeah, many tournaments like one after another. It was really hard time. Thank God I found you guys.
Because then he came in, and then I just went over the basic FixFit regimen because I'm just figuring out what movement's causing him pain. I want him to compete without pain. I did the general assessment. You know, his upper trap dominance, everything's in his shoulder, his neck super tight.
Dude, that has been a lot better. His shoulders and neck are
Lower
look
back.
a little more mobile now.
The jiu-jitsu guys, man, all like a lot of lower back issues, a lot of knee issues, especially upper trap, like the wrestler posture.
Yeah.
Right? So I just worked on a lot of the mechanics and the basics with him, and I could see his like eyes light up. You understood the importance of the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Because I've had other people come in and stuff, and you can tell when someone gets it or they don't.
Yeah.
Either you know what I'm talking
Pretty
about.
quickly.
Like as patients of yours, sometimes it's like you're explaining to them, but then some people just like, fix me now. Like that doesn't work. But he understood the benefits. Like, oh man, I do feel it. And then I'm explaining to him like, okay, this rope pull is like an arm drag. Do you see if you arm drag with, your traps,
Tiny trap muscle, yeah.
right? And then your shoulders up, or even if you were to do like a takedown and you try to bear hug someone, right, or clinch with them, if you use the right muscles, and he's like, yeah, I feel it. And so that I felt that like, okay, we should probably meet up more and have more discussion. And then so from then, we were able to meet up and then talk about mechanics and stuff, going over the way he coaches, which is very similar to the way I teach as well, is that he was so into the fundamentals. And I was the same way. It's like you want to, like he always talks about, like you have to build a big base so you can put a bunch of stuff on it, you know?
Yeah.
Build a super tall
You're gonna build
building.
a house.
Yeah.
And that's what his analogy was. And I was like, I'm the same way. You start with the strong base, then you can learn whatever, snatches, handstands, heavier back squats.
Yeah.
And we had the same like issues that we're seeing because he's telling me the same thing. It's like he sees the divide now. A lot of people are coming in wanting to learn crazy techniques
Yeah.
and not valuing or understanding the mechanics or the importance of good mechanics, good fundamentals. So what was really interesting is I started going over the mechanics of his basic like warm-up movements. Something as simple as like a bridge or oompa.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what, that's still a movement and I know how the muscle chains work. So then like, all right, show me how you would coach. You know, you've been teaching jiu-jitsu for a long time. Like, how would you do the oompa? And then I'd come in, well, if you push through the big toe, you can use your inside hammies and glutes.
Yeah.
And he started seeing the value or the benefits of that.
Yeah. Well, he probably woke up sore the next day.
Yeah, after his...
The next 5 days.
The next 5 It's a fucking trap, isn't it? I saw you guys working on those sleds.
Man, that was trying to murder, you know? That was not a workout.
He didn't even do that much on day one because during assessment it's not a
Yeah.
lot, but it's
No.
a lot of activating
But
muscles
look where
we
it's
don't
come
use.
to with the sleds the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You
pretty-
busted out the old harness, I saw.
And I think...
Where did the harness come from? You just dusted it off?
Well, it's kind of like full circle for me. I've always, like, I got into the fitness industry knowing that I have kids, you know, fighting or being an MMA fighter is not a lucrative career.
No.
So I was like, you know what? Then I'll go into strength and conditioning and I could work with, like, fighters. And that was 10 years ago and I opened a CrossFit gym, but then I never got the chance to. So now it's like I've been always having that in the back of my mind, especially now with FixFit. Everyone always looks back, like you in your wrestling career, right? It's kind of like, damn, I wish I would have knew the mechanics in FixFit when I used to train.
Mm-hmm.
I would have learned much faster, less injuries, the whole deal. So then I got Leo on a workout. What was that, last Friday?
Yeah, that's
Friday. And I'm out there doing sled pushes, sled drags where you're pulling it backwards in a harness, doing a bear crawl.
Bear crawl is the worst.
And every time you watch a UFC fighter or whatever,
Everything's
they're
the
always
worst.
they're always talking about, oh man, whoever's got the strongest hips, or look how strong his hips are, like wrestlers,
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu. That's the ideal thing is you're moving a ton of weight with that harness doing the bear crawl. And I was telling Leo, there's no wear and tear. It's not like I'm having him do like a set of
barbell back squats.
back squats where if he gets tired, he's gonna collapse and the weight goes into his spine or his knees.
Yep.
But like if he can't move that sled anymore, he just lays there.
Yeah.
Pulling the sled is
Yeah.
the same thing. Rope pull. It's such a better way to train for an athlete where he can take the least amount of wear and tear on his joints, right? Like he doesn't have to do 50 pull-ups
Mm-hmm.
for upper body pulling strength. Because if he gets tired, his ladder, his bicep gives out. All that weight's going into his shoulder. But if he does that rope pull, it's like a bunch of arm drags, right? A bunch of clinches, and then if his muscle fatigues, he just lets the rope go.
Yeah.
And so
And you can push it a little bit past that fatigue point too, versus like you were saying, if you're doing 100 pull-ups for time and you get tired, you're gonna start cheating it.
Yeah.
Start using your upper trap. You can tweak yourself. You can get some ligament damage, you know.
Yeah.
But with that rope pull, the worst thing you're gonna get is like a sore bicep.
yeah.
You know.
But then it's such a small muscle. Once that burns out, the sled's not moving.
Right.
So it forces you to have to use everything.
You have to use the bigger muscles.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Leo, what do you think? We come in understanding the anatomy, and the guys that from the gym that come train with you, they're obviously in better shape than, let's say, Joe Schmo. I work at a computer 5 days a week, and I just want to get in shape. What injuries do you see those guys having? Or girls?
Yeah. We had the issues before, you know, and when I met Mark, he was the answer for all the questions that I had, all the issues that I had, you know. So, and he showed me that really fast. Just by showing me, make me do everything that I was doing for ages, for decades, right? And how to do them properly with the right muscles. So I could feel it right away. in jiu-jitsu, it's weird. It's different because you might have injuries for different reasons, by not tapping, by falling wrong, right? Because you're being thrown around, not just with throws but with sweeps too, right? You can post your hand wrong, funny, and bend your arm funny and break. You can injure yourself by moving yourself to the wrong side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can get injured by someone going too hard on you or something, even before you think about tapping.
Doesn't that go back to
understand
mechanics though, right? If you push your arm in the wrong position.
and you can injure yourself the easiest way, even if you're so I've seen that before. People that they just have like private classes. They just roll with his teacher and another guy, so it's almost impossible to get injury.
Right.
But he gets injury.
Yeah.
How? By using the wrong muscles to do the movements.
What is it usually, like shoulder injury?
Shoulder, knees, low back.
Same. Yeah.
Neck tweak.
If it's on the elbows, usually it's by not tapping or by someone going too hard on, because there are many locks, right? Usually they're more on the elbows than someone else.
Because of someone else, or they're going too hard and not tapping. Usually it's like the extremities, right? Elbows, wrists.
Overextension to the wrong direction, right?
You probably treat wrestlers or jiu-jitsu athletes too. What injuries do you see?
Neck tweak, upper trap. He got a crank into the neck with like a guillotine or a front choke, and it's same thing though. It's not tapping. Like that guy I just recently saw was like, I should have tapped. I thought I could get out.
Yeah.
I thought I was out.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't. And
then it gets worse, and then you get hurt.
Yep.
And people say, like, because if you've done jiu-jitsu, right, you've been there. Like, it's not your intent to be a knucklehead and not tap.
Sure.
You think you can get out.
Yeah, he really did. Yeah.
And I
really think that kid was like, I'm out, and then the guy squeezed extra hard because he was almost out, and then tweaked himself. But
and some techniques, especially on the neck, they're like gradative. They go and they get worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't tap. You think it's okay. Then you see it's really bad. Really.
Same with the arm bar.
Hard for you.
There's sometimes you can roll out, and I've gotten out, but sometimes you're like turning the wrong way, and it just So it's not like I intended for to not tap.
You weren't trying to tough it out.
Exactly. So it's like such a fine line.
So
right?
those are
it is.
Those are the acute ones, right? Like a swollen elbow, tweaked neck, tweaked your low back. But the common tendencies I see are tight hips, because you're in the guard, right?
Yeah.
Hip flexors are on.
Yeah.
Glutes that they sit on all day are off. Their hamstrings are trying to do these leg curls to bring guys into the guard. Mm-hmm. But hamstrings connected to low back, they're arching like this into it, right? So that's why when you guys were talking about the bridging, all Mark said was like push out the big toe joint, get your glute to activate into that extension. It was like a completely different thing in class when you could like hip up with your glute instead of hipping up with your lower back.
Exactly.
And so those are the common tendencies I'll see. So the guys that, just quote unquote roll a lot and aren't competing, they don't really come in tweaked as often. They just come in with those kind of like sore low back, sore neck, sore joints, but that's kind of part of the sport.
Yeah.
If you do it long enough, any sport,
Oh yeah,
you're gonna have
weightlifting. You could have sore wrists.
It's like I'm training for that 500-pound deadlift. I'm going to have overused muscles because you're doing it more often.
Yeah.
So like for you, when you came to see Ian because you're competing, I mean now you're like, what chronic injuries were you dealing with? Because we're not talking about like I can't move my shoulder. It's like years of jiu-jitsu.
My low back.
Yeah.
Low back was the main one.
Yeah.
But that was before he knew what a glute was.
Or obliques.
Or core and obliques.
Obliques.
Because he would have constant hip tightness like every single week, but it was like he was also competing, driving up all the way to the OC to compete.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like you drive up, weigh in, come back home, teach some classes, drive back up to compete the next day, It's crazy.
It's crazy.
So how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu? Because then you got your black belt 2004?
2004.
And what is it? 19 now? So, holy shit.
15 years ago.
That's when you got your black belt?
Yeah.
So close to 30 years. Is that right? 29 years?
For the whole training?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
shit.
was 18 when I began. I'm 45 now. 27 years.
27 years. Damn.
27 years.
That's
So
a lot of
wise.
wear and tear.
He's so wise.
I've been more time on my life training jiu-jitsu than not
Than
training
not?
jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
18
More
against
time on the
27.
mat, and then
Yeah,
You
they're
know
not
what?
on the mat. And if you add my time on judo, it's more 2 or 3 years.
Before
So I
jiu-jitsu?
get back, yeah. I did judo when I was a kid.
Yeah.
After my father passed away,
Yep.
I think my mother wanted to make me get more busy, you know, instead of being at home, watching TV, feeling sad, you know. So there was a club in Rio. They have many activities in there, and she put me to swimming and to judo. So I was doing both every day, and then that was like for 3 years, I believe. I did judo.
that is a lot of
in
wear and
there.
tear. Do you think the competition grind is what causes people? Let's go over burnout rate. Okay, so let's say this is one of the topics we used to go over was if you got a brand new member, he's never grappled before, and he's 35 years old and wants to take up grappling and jiu-jitsu, and then he does it for like a year, maybe a year and a half, and he gets a blue belt, and he did a competition or two, and he gets hooked, right? The transition from blue belt to purple belt is a little bit longer,
Yeah,
right? A lot more competitions. The blue belt competition goes up, and that guy phases out, what, 3-5 years
After the blue,
after blue?
yeah.
Because what happens after that, it becomes the lifestyle, right? After you've gotten your blue, you've done a few blue belt competitions.
Uh-huh.
Those blue belts that are about to become a purple whoop your ass, and then
Yeah.
you're like, all right, now I gotta train hard for 3 years and just
Yeah.
eat it,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I heard it's really hard to stick around to get your blue belt. Like anyone walking off the street, right? To get
Yeah.
your blue belt to stay committed, it's hard. And
It is.
I heard it's like that's when you get your blue belt, that's even a bigger drop off. Like
Yeah.
people will quit because then they're like, I got it. Like you said, purple belts like seems out of reach.
Yeah, that's
And
exactly
then it's
right.
like, shoot. So like getting to blue is kind of hard, but like staying after a blue belt is even harder.
It's even harder.
Is that what normally
It's
happens?
even harder, yeah, because with me happened that because the difference between a blue belt and a purple belt is really big.
Mhm.
Usually, a good purple belt can tap many black belts.
Mhm.
You know.
What's the average
So-
year to like? Okay, so white to blue average, let's say, like all the schools average. How long does that take?
They used to say a long time ago that it would be like 2 years for each belt.
Mhm.
So 10 years to get your black.
Oh, really? I thought
Yeah.
it was like 15, 20 years.
No.
But for Rio, it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's longer than that.
Got it.
Because, as you said, 35 years old, you begin training. You start training, right? You have a life. You have a work. You have your family. You know what I mean. So you cannot train every day.
Right.
And even if you do, it won't be healthy for you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to fix yourself. You have to do many more things
you
than
should
just rolling.
Go to the gym and work out, not just roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. So
Which I highly advise my jiu-jitsu guys. I'm like, if you're there 2-3 times a week, 3 would be great, right?
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
Perfect.
yeah.
The other days, what are you doing? And they're like, nothing. Rest. I'm
Nothing.
like, you got to go to the gym.
Yeah,
Just do some
something.
resistance stuff.
Yeah.
Just not pump iron.
No,
hit,
but
you know.
no, but get ready for your training the
Yeah.
next day, right?
So
Like
how,
some active recovery stuff.
so
Yeah.
just for you then, if it's not 2 years, let's just say from what you've seen, blue to purple, just a number. What do you think
From
it should
blue
be?
to purple.
How many years
Is that the
man,
biggest?
I took 5.
Damn.
I
See,
feel
that's
like
where
I
most
took
people.
5.
That's what I'm saying. Most people, once they get to blue, they feel like they've made it, kind of, right? But then to see that, like, oh, it might be another 5. I think a lot of people. Can't
I think
make that jump.
the better mentality lately is for a blue that wants to keep going and is like, this is my life now. They compete, and then like you start off as like the white belt version of blue belt.
Uh-huh.
Go get their ass kicked at tournaments, and then they get better and better and better and better, and then they start rolling with purple belts a lot,
Uh-huh.
and they eventually cruise up there.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you, do you think that's the biggest drop off?
On the blue belt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are the excuses you hear?
Don't have time. I get injured a lot.
See? There it is.
I think injury is a big deal.
Because you have
Do you
to
hear that
work.
all-
You have to work the next day. How you gonna work if you cannot walk? If you cannot stand, if you cannot sit, right? If you injure a low back, you cannot walk, you cannot sit.
That's
So
so
blue
true.
belt is like your honeymoon phase that you always get.
Yeah,
for
in
CrossFitters.
CrossFit, after a while, I just had a discussion with one of my good friends, member at the gym, but he does no-gi jiu-jitsu, and he's just like, man, I don't know if I can do it anymore. I asked him today, he's been doing it 2.5 years now, and he's just like, man, now my ankle hurts. Someone, pulled a little hard on a ankle lock, but it's after a while he's starting to question. Now he's in that honeymoon phase. It's like he might not grapple anymore.
That's the thing is, who are you grappling with? Who's your leader that's teaching you? Like that's what the kind of people we want Leo to start working with, and for Leo to coach other coaches on how to the mentality. Because like we were saying earlier, that if the mission statement of their academy is we're going to be here for 25 years together, and we're all going to be a family and take care of each other.
Yeah.
There's no, I tweaked my ankle because my buddy pulled on it too hard and I can't come back.
Yeah.
Like that honeymoon phase gap has to be bridged somehow.
And it's hard because I was telling him the same analogy is like there's a honeymoon phase, because in the beginning you're not fit enough to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So like most white belts come in, and like myself when I started, I'm gassed after 2-3 minutes of rolling.
Yeah.
But now he's gotten to that endurance level of being able to roll 5 or 6 times an hour straight.
With better guys too.
With better guys, with Brown. Now he's at the point where he has more time to hurt himself.
Yeah.
Before one round you're like, oh. Same with CrossFit. It's like you start and you're doing all these modifications. Oh, you're doing this variation. Maybe a ring row. It's safer.
Yeah.
You're doing like an empty bar, 45-pound deadlift or something. But after you get to 2-3 years, all you're trying to do is increase the stimulus, which is like more weight.
Yeah.
Or starting.
That's what Deech said on our episode, was that he's like, I just PR'd this by 2 seconds. He's like, what am I going to do next year?
Another 2?
1.5 seconds? Like it doesn't make any difference. Like they're going to hit this plateau. The new PRs are going to be, I did the same workout next year with no neck pain. I did the same, I just did another tournament. The weight cut wasn't as hard because I got my macros down, and it's like, hey, I just did that tournament and I went 2 for 2, but I came out of it with no injuries, versus like, oh damn, like I didn't level up my belt yet.
I really do wish there's some sort of belt system for CrossFit.
Yeah.
Because that gives them
weightlifting in general, right?
Yeah, because it gives them the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like to get your black belt, it's not just that you're the best and you could kill everyone. No. That's not the point.
No.
It's you put in the
You're
time.
ready to start learning when you get your black belt. Actually, that's what you feel when you get your black belt.
Wow.
And I've
well,
heard,
now I'm ready to start learning, and then because you start seeing the whole thing different when you get your black belt. It's crazy. I've heard that and I felt that when I got mine.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Awesome. So it took you 14 years to learn how to actually apply jiu-jitsu to your life.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like I want too, because like with training, I want people to go through all those like, I want to hit big lifts and want to compete, that's fine. But after a while you start questioning it, like DJ, it's like, well, I can't keep getting stronger, I'm getting older, but I don't want to stop doing this. Like, how do I keep perfecting my craft?
But mentally, where am I at?
Exactly.
Like, what if you tapered down your seconds a little bit? Oh, I actually didn't PR this time. I was 2 seconds slower, but you're like, but I just PR'd, like, but the weight was higher this time or something.
That's kind of like our evolution now. It's like you hit all those records, you're getting stronger on the deadlift, faster run times, and then they start to plateau because you're just getting older, you don't have time to train. But this fixed fit mentality gives you something to work on. It's like the mastery, the craft of human movement.
Right.
Now my members are I'm trying to get them to understand like how their shoulder works. So if they're, whatever, carrying a case of water and their shoulder hurts, or they know how to adjust that. Like that takes more time. So I guess that's kind of like the evolution or the skill we want. Too bad there's nothing to track it, right? It's just like, hey, you got your blue belt in FixFit.
Yeah.
You know how to take away friggin'
But then also
migraines.
what he's saying with the belt, it's like you reach it and then you're like, okay, what next? The next one? Like, or now I could do a tournament at this belt level and the competition is going to be extra hard.
Mm-hmm.
Do I really want to do that for another,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, hey, what if I got my purple? And then it's like, I don't want to go sign up for a purple belt competition the next weekend. Like, I'm going to get my ass whooped. So I mean, I don't want to get killed. So I'm like, what do you do? 2 years? Like, it's so arbitrary to say like you should get your purple and then train for 2 years before your next one. Like, everybody's so different, and everybody's goals are a little different, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if you get a young kid that's 25 and he just got his blue belt, and what if he's addicted to the competition and he's still in his prime and he's weightlifting and getting strong and he's feeling good, he's got his macros down and he's got on a good weight, it's like he's in competition prime, right? So how do you train those guys?
Well, I talked to another jiu-jitsu guy and instructor, and he was saying that none of those competitors will last long term. I don't know if that's true for you, and he told me that
I
straight
agree
up.
with that.
And he's like, my academy is not built up of competitors. He's like, he gets people telling him all the time, oh, let me train under you, I'll prove your whatever, like people that are eager to learn.
Yeah.
But he told me none of those guys ever stay. And I thought about it, and it makes sense, because they're only there for a purpose to win or compete. But once their competition life is gone, they're done. They're not here for a black belt. They're here to win. And if they stop winning, they're done.
Or an injury takes you out sooner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what would you say to like the youth program then that you have? Let's say they go through high school and they do high school wrestling with you, and then they get into their teens. Would you encourage them to keep competing? Or would you encourage them like, hey, jiu-jitsu should be a part of your life forever?
I believe that jiu-jitsu should be a part of everyone's life, you know. Because again, after you reach some sort of level, you're not worried, you're not thinking so much about, you know, let's get a little back. I was hearing those guys talking about the way of teaching, the way you should teach people, especially beginners, right? Mm-hmm. Talking about who's starting, and the way we always did, make people go away, make people give up, because I'm making you go against someone. So if you are bigger, if you're stronger, if you're younger, if you have one more stripe, if this, if that, you never want to lose to the other one. You always want to win. Who has one less stripe? Who's older? Who's smaller? Who's weaker?
Yeah.
So I'm basically telling to people that okay, let's do something, and then you have to compete against each other. You have to go against each other. Okay, but that's not the meaning, that's not the idea of the thing. The idea is to help each other learning, mm-hmm. help each other improving, help each other having a better life, feeling more confident, feeling more secure, you know, feeling better when they're outside, you know. So so I believe that jiu-jitsu should be part of your lifestyle, because this idea, what's the biggest difference from jiu-jitsu to all the other martial arts? We fight on the ground, okay, but all the other martial arts, you want to hit me, I want to hit you before, or I want to hit you harder, I want to hit you faster before that you can see it, blah. In jiu-jitsu, the idea, the concept, the mentality, I don't know how to explain that in words in English, I'm sorry, I'm trying, but the idea, the concept is different. If you want to hit me, I want to make you not hit me by maybe make you you tap out or give up.
So you want to control them so they cannot
I don't want,
you.
Because on the other fight, okay, you want to hit me, and then I swing and I hit you hard and then you pass out. So what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and then when comes the time that you're not that fast anymore, yeah. Or if you're hurt,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
If you don't land that
if you're a little weak, if you drunk too much, a few more beers on the lunch,
yeah,
you know, and you're heading home, you know what I mean? You're a little slow, and then someone wants to hit you, you know what I mean? Yeah. So jiu-jitsu, it's the idea of always giving you another choice. jiu-jitsu is not supposed to make you get in any fight, and win it without any bruise, any scar. No, it's going to give you it's not the choice, not the word that I wanted to say in English. But you have another choice. You are almost going to, you're in a really bad situation, really bad position. But if you use jiu-jitsu, you find a way. You always find a way to escape.
Yeah.
There's always a different way to escape. Especially if you're really trying to squeeze me, to smash me. That's the best for who understand the concept of jiu-jitsu. When someone's stronger, just want to smash me, to squeeze, to how do I teach people how to escape from the headlock? Getting the biggest guy that I have in there, get me in a headlock, squeeze for real, and then I can escape. If they don't squeeze for real, or if they're smaller than me, they won't believe on that, right? They think that if you're strong enough, you can take anyone from there. But if you know the concept, if you know the movement, if you understand that, you understand that you always find a way, you always find an escape, you always have another choice.
Well, the difference, I think, in society,
and that's for life,
is that people don't have that mindset. It's a self-defense martial arts.
Yeah.
It got really popular probably because UFC, probably UFC, and then
if you see Royce Gracie fighting the first UFCs, watch that tonight. You're going to see many things that you learn on my classes.
Yeah, all the basics.
Yeah,
the fundamentals.
Yeah,
it's just like palm strikes. That's it,
right? Because he didn't want to break his hand.
Yeah,
I mean, he had to try to win, but usually it's because he's submitting him. He's not trying to knock someone out.
Yeah.
And so that's a good point he said about, like, if you took up boxing or kickboxing, when you age, you've had head trauma over time, so your reaction time kind of goes down. But two, physically, your reaction time also goes, your hand speed goes, and then you eventually just retire.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can keep punching a bag, but those guys don't like doing that.
Yeah.
And once you stop training that, how good is that in self-defense, right? Like, you stop hitting heavy bags for 10 years and you got nothing.
And some of the most impressive things I've ever seen, like, watch like a really old black belt roll with like a pretty strong brown belt or black belt that's like half of it, or maybe half of his, like, the guy's bigger than him, but a really old black belt, they move so slow when they grapple, but it's amazing. Like, the guy that's like muscling and like trying to get out of it and is like, oh, I'm rolling with my professor or whatever, it's like a freaking snake just constricting, and like there's no movement happening, but it's like, that's just like years of like you were saying, just years and years of understanding human movement,
understanding,
knowing what that guy's trying to do before he even does it. Like, that's something you can't teach.
But now with Mark, we are kind of changing that, because now as we understand which muscles we have to use for those movements, I can teach that to people. Yeah. So they don't need to take years and years trying, getting hurt, getting sprained, getting this, getting that, to understand what muscles they had to use,
Exactly.
We can tell them that. That's amazing. That's like mind-blowing. That's why I'm so amazed with Mark, and his work.
Yeah.
I was in the trap of like watching UFC. When we were training in our garage, it wasn't like learning the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, the art of it. We were just training because it's like we wanted to compete, and then we were, once you start training more and you know more shit, you feel like some sort of ego badass because you're beating people, and you go to other academies, and when you roll, you're like, oh, we're just as good as them, and then that built up your confidence. And we used to that was like 10 years ago, I'm like early 20s, and then when we go out, you kind of have that like, oh, I'd fight anyone persona, the mindset. It's all wrong.
Yeah. It
was ass backwards. And then so when you learn jiu-jitsu the wrong way, like I did, I'm just like, fuck, I'll fight anyone. Like, I wish someone would fight me. Like, that's how stupid I was. But that's not, I didn't learn it from any professional or anyone that's actually teaching me the art of it. So that, I remember taking one of his classes, and I think he was teaching us just spacing.
Yeah.
like he was saying, like, hey, if someone's coming at you, your hands out. You either want to be away from them so they can't punch you.
So you can run.
Or you get really close and clinch.
Yeah.
But for him, he was saying, like, oh, no, hey, we don't have a problem. We don't have a problem.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, what the hell? Like, and he even said it. They're like, dude, you're like 27-year black belt, whatever. Shouldn't you want to fight, you know? And he's like, no.
Never
what he said, the last thing you want to do is get in a fight.
Yeah.
Especially if you know some shit, then you hurt someone and you get arrested. Like, it's such a weird way. Like, most people that train jiu-jitsu, I think, without the intent, the right mindset, doing it for competition, don't get it twisted for self-defense, because that'll set you up for failure. I mean, you know, I can only imagine for me back then if
someone actually did get it.
Yeah, it's just silly, right?
Someone you actually do get in a fight, and then they have guns, knives, friends, gang.
Exactly.
It's like, that's why you never instigated it.
And it gives you that false sense of, and that's kind of like the analogy with CrossFit. It's like you get stronger and stronger, and you have a false sense of fitness or mechanics. You're lifting you're doing a deadlift the wrong way with your lower back rounded. You can pick up a lot of weight. It gives you a false sense of being strong. And then something.
That's a good point, because like someone was talking to me about that they could deadlift and clean a lot, right? And like they said that's, and I was like, is that what you think makes you strong? And I was like, because I would argue what can make you strong is that you just had a weekend of like yard work, carrying sandbags in and out of a truck, digging a ditch, you know, like cleaning it up after and going to work on Monday without a freaking blown up back. Because if you can't do that, then none of that fitness that you just did with a barbell didn't translate to your real life kind of shit that you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. That you said that perfectly. It's like it has to translate to real life.
If it doesn't fucking translate, then you're not getting actual strength then.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the big argument in jiu-jitsu right now, and I see the same parallel. It's like they're learning a lot of jiu-jitsu techniques, and I've learned a lot of them too for competitions, and they worked well. But then, like, if I'm looking at it, like, how are these new jiu-jitsu techniques going to actually apply if I were going to use it for self-defense? And it wouldn't. A lot of my attacks are from half guard and weird things, but
you don't
it's
get
like,
a half guard fight in the club.
Yeah, I don't want to pull guard pull guard in the club. Do my old man jiu-jitsu. I'm like butt scooting. Come on.
You don't want to get on this ground with me, bro.
Yeah. Hey, can we start fighting on the ground, please? Don't punch me yet. I have to make sure. Can you put your jacket on? I need to grab your sleeves. I do a really good spider guard, so I have to put your sweater on.
Yeah.
So I see a huge parallel with the CrossFit, and I think this is the important subject that we want to discuss, is that you've been teaching jiu-jitsu for a while, and I've been coaching CrossFit for like about 10 years now, and I see that like the CrossFit world and the jiu-jitsu world has that same parallel. When it first started, CrossFit was for health and fitness and teaching functional movements. It's a really fun way to get fit. Right? And you learn some stuff. And jiu-jitsu started before they had the UFC, before the IBJJF and stuff like that. It was, again, a martial arts for self-defense.
For self-defense, for a better life.
Better life. And you meet people.
Better,
you meet people, right? It's the community.
Yeah.
CrossFit and jiu-jitsu are similar, and they have a lot of high-skill movements that you have to learn. And so, you know, it was kind of underground. It wasn't so popular. And then CrossFit exploded because I think the CrossFit Games, it became a competition. They put it on ESPN. Reebok came in and they were like, man, look, you can look like that. You can train for this sport and make money, whatever. And I think the same thing happened with jiu-jitsu, where like UFC and then you see all these competitions now and all these people winning medals and it's like now it's kind of divided. People coming in, are you here to compete or are you here to learn what it was designed for? And I think that's the big issue right now. A lot of the injury rates, in my opinion, because people come in with the wrong mindset. It's what they see on TV or the internet. Like for CrossFit, if you come in and you're like, man, I want to do this handstand push-up or this crazy workout with heavy snatches, but you don't have the fundamentals. You don't have any stability in your shoulders.
Or it's like, oh man, Leo's class is boring. He taught me how to fall down today, but when are we gonna learn spider guard and X guard?
It's like,
when am I gonna learn a sweep, dude?
And I guarantee you get it all the time, but like, hey man, look at this YouTube video. I saw this Bermbolo thing. Can you show me? And you're like, you can't backwards roll.
Yeah,
You can't even do a
You
grand
don't
view
know how
roll.
to open your guard and put your feet on hips, you know. So how come you want?
Yeah.
But then to be fair, it's like it's really good that those things happen. The competitions, UFC, because it gave the craft a new life. It's bringing a ton of people that are interested.
Mhm.
But the issue that we're both seeing is that, let's say 10 people try CrossFit class day one at my gym, 10 people try Gracie Powie, let's say, and then maybe like one stay.
Yeah.
So the 9 other people lost the chance to improve their life, to be part of a good community, to be fit,
Yeah.
because they were put into, I don't know, the system's kind of fucked up because you're just learning things not in a curriculum. You see, you
Yeah.
come into my gym and still we're trying to figure it out, but it's like, what if it is handstand walk day plus cleans? And this is day one and you're just, you've never worked out before. That might be overwhelming and it might be too dangerous, even if you modify it, And I think jiu-jitsu's similar. If you come in day one and you guys are working, I don't know, something a little more like a triangle even.
Uh-huh.
This is day one. It's like, how is this a self-defense? I don't even know what the hell's going on.
I've seen that on other gyms that I've been training all my life, and I remember on that gym that I was training, this guy came in, he looked like maybe 40, like a office guy, maybe lawyer or something, but an office guy, You could see that he just took his suit off. He came in there,
Yeah.
Someone put a gear on him, and he went inside. He looked lost. No, come here, yeah, jumping class, do the warm up, yeah, this, that, blah blah blah, some warm up. I don't remember what, maybe push-ups, running, blah blah blah, and then they did some drills, a sweep, if I can remember exactly, and okay, let's go with him. No, go with him. And I don't know what to do. No, go, just grab and try. Yeah, try to go around, Of course, he got slapped, he felt wrong, he hurt himself,
Yeah.
He went out, sad, hurt.
Yeah.
And I didn't stay there that long, but he probably never came back, So, and then, of course, he was talking bad about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, you can't help
jiu-jitsu
it.
doesn't work for you, it's not
true.
good, you shouldn't go.
He got hurt.
But if at his first class he was learning how to break fall, side, front ways, how to hip escape, how to technical stand, then and another thing that I think I believe on that, many people disagree with me, but beginners should not roll.
I've heard that before and I believe that.
I don't know exactly when they should start rolling. I don't know exactly yet. I'm working on that, but beginners should not roll.
Yeah, I mean, how many blue belts have rolled with like a fresh white belt and they hate it?
They're
Because
like
they're just going like 90
They're like
miles
a
an hour.
crazy, angry puppy, like a big puppy.
Yeah.
Just want to bite your head off. There's no technique.
I remember I rolled with a.
It's dangerous for both people.
Yeah, they had themselves. They knew a lot.
Yeah.
Even teaching a beginner, sometimes it's dangerous when they are strong and they did something before. They think they know it. Sometimes it's dangerous. They kick you in the face without intention.
I remember one of my good friends that I made in jiu-jitsu, like probably like 6 months into it, he was like, dude, when you first started, I hated you. Because he's like, you were like that white belt. Because I think I finally was like, I was part of that community and stuff. And then like a new guy came and I was like, man, that guy is going way too hard today. And he was like, we all fucking hated you in the beginning because you did that. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, I get what you mean. Because I was like, I got a wrestling background and I get like top game and I was putting pressure under their chin, with my head, and they're like, dude, fucking relax, man. Like, we're blue belts and purple belts here, and I was trying to compensate because I'm like, shit, dude, I don't want to get my ass kicked by these guys, so. Yeah. But then, 6 months into it, a year into it, I'd be like, oh crap, here's a new big guy. Well, there we go. And then they go 90 miles an hour. So it's like, maybe they shouldn't just get thrown into the fire, because the mentality really is. I look around and see colored belts everywhere, and I'm like, I just got thrown into the fire, man. I better sink or swim, feast or famine right now. We gotta go, right? But if you pair you up with another white belt, they could be. I don't know. That's probably just as not.
Even with a higher belt, I believe that they should not roll because they don't know how to move properly.
Yeah, what's a better option, to do drills Or is it like, what would you say then?
I would say first, understanding that you can defend yourself.
So it's still the self-defense as
For
a
me,
base.
the first thing that you have to understand how to defend yourself. First, how to fall to the floor without hurting yourself.
Yeah.
On any direction, to your back, to your sides, to your front. Okay, you've learned that. How? Break fall, side fall, front fall. Okay, you learn. Good. Now, how do you stand up?
So it's like a series, like a
yeah,
curriculum.
Yeah. For me, it is like that. As I learned with my teacher, Silver Baring, and I've learned all my life everything that makes sense on that way to me. Because okay, you come to have a class with me. I don't know your level.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what you know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're a black belt, but you don't know how to UPA. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't know how to hip skate properly.
Yeah, they usually put you into the situation that you just practiced that day.
Yeah.
You know.
So to me, you have to. At the first day, you understand that. I make you understand how to defend yourself, and to make you understand that, I have to make you hip skate. I have to make you technical stand. I have to make you clinch. I have to. So after I make you do all of that, you have some base. Right? Because, okay, get you inside my close guard, I'm going to teach you how to clinch or put my knee on your chest, push, and my feet on hips.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good way to make you understand how to base inside the guard. And to me, how to open my guard and how to be prepared to do a sweep. So you're learning the really basics, you know,
yeah.
and moving already, doing something already, you know what I mean? Because if you get there and then I start teaching as everyone does, okay, you do some warm up and then you do the drill of the day, maybe warm up, maybe arm bar inside the closed guard,
yeah,
and then in the next class you learn how to escape from the mount,
yeah,
and then you go roll.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on in the jiu-jitsu.
On my way, no,
these days.
you're not rolling, but you are clinching, you're grabbing,
Yeah.
you're stretching, you're sweeping, you're getting the mount position, and you're submitting the guy. So it gives you a little sense of winning every day, every class that you do with me. You win something, you do something, you not just learn something.
Yeah, you don't get beat up by.
You don't get beat up by another guy.
Yeah, that's not the focus.
It doesn't happen something to you that you don't understand. I've seen that a lot, especially with kids. Sometimes the other one is, you know, just holding him, and he doesn't know what, he's almost passing out, and he starts crying. Oh, it was just good. No.
We use that same thing. We say like, we're trying to transition with the mindset. The training mindset is so important, especially after the honeymoon phase, the 3 years, is that we want people to have that win of the day, because like if you're not hitting a PR, you're not going to feel good. You leave the training session like, oh, I'm getting weaker. That's all you can think about. So the goal is to, like, you know, maybe you got your pecs to fire or something, you know, your lats to fire.
How many people just say like they're stoked that they showed up that day?
Right,
Yeah.
And it's like you get, like, your analogy, like you don't start learning until you get your black belt, and I think it's the same thing with training. Like you don't start going back to the real reason why you started after you go through a long session, you know, years of training, because then you figure out why you actually do it in the first place. Because most of the people that go to our gym will tell you they go because of the community, you know, first and foremost. This is the place where they hang out, and we're like in jiu-jitsu, and you make a bunch of good friends, and you don't want to hurt each other. You want to learn something.
You want to learn together, yeah.
You know? So, but the difference is that it's hard because people come in, they want to do the fun stuff.
Yeah.
They want to learn the arm bar. They want to learn the triangle. They want to do the shit they see on YouTube. Same with CrossFit. It's like they come in, they want to do the heavy snatches. They want to do clean and jerks. They want to do heavy lifts. They want to do the workouts as RX, the way it's prescribed, you know? So they still have to do the workout. It's just difficult to, like, not everyone wants to learn the series.
Yeah.
I think the fix, in my opinion, is that if you take up CrossFit or Jiu-Jitsu, my opinion, I think you have to pick. If I'm going to do CrossFit for competitions, then you kind of have to, like, skip a lot of the fundamentals. I got to teach you how to snatch like that, and then you have to put in the hours So your fundamentals not be great, and same with competing in jiu-jitsu. I think you have to find what's your best techniques, and you just hammer down that technique to
rely
win.
on your athleticism.
Yeah, because if I'm really good at the burn bolo or X or Z guard or whatever it is, it's like then you just practice that because your goal is different.
Yep.
I just think that people need to define their goals to not get injured so much, because it's not that being a competitor is bad. There is a better way to train. Your strength and conditioning can match your competition jiu-jitsu style, right?
Yeah.
If you're a top game player, if you're if you pull guard all the time, there's a lot of strength and conditioning drills you can do to complement it.
Yeah.
Same with CrossFit comps. We're trying to figure out, if your deadlift's really strong, we have to make sure all the other movements are just as strong as well. So,
true.
I think that's the difference, because it's very difficult to have a person walk through the door and then their mindset's kind of split. They don't even know.
They don't even know.
Yeah, are they training 3-4 months and then all of a sudden, hey, try a white belt jiu-jitsu comp? Or are you training 3 or 4 months and you never wanted to do a comp, but it's just because everyone's doing it? And we've done that at our gym. All of a sudden everyone's doing a comp, and it's like, did you ever want to?
Yeah.
Or maybe,
That's where it just comes down to what we were saying earlier, the mission statement of the gym that you enter. People don't think of that. They just kind of have a mentality of what they think it's going to be, or what they have a vision of and then they go in, and if it's not meeting up to their standards, they're just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like us three have talked about this FixFit mentality kind of so much that we just kind of been able to just give out the information, and then if they don't like it, it's just kind of like, hey, this isn't for you. Go down to the gym down the street.
Yeah.
And train 6 days a week and compete every month. That's up to you. That's your choice.
Yeah.
Love it or leave it.
Right. So, yeah, it's.
I think the benefit of so moving on to what you're trying to do, your style. It's like our team is growing.
Yeah.
That's our whole goal initially, is to this FixFit stuff is not a program. It's to enhance what you do. It enhance your practice, as a chiro. It enhances you as a professor teaching jiu-jitsu, and me teaching movement like CrossFit. And we're just trying to make learning more efficient. So what I think, working with Leo and just brainstorming, let's just say it takes you 10 years to get your black belt because you've learned everything. But now if we paired up learning the techniques with the mechanics, how much quicker can you get there? How many injuries could you have prevented, right? Because if you're doing that bridge or that oompa all in your lower back and you just do that for hours of practice, you're not going to get anything out of it. You'll get an injury.
Yeah.
You learn how to do a rear naked choke, but you're using all upper traps and biceps the whole time. Then just because the old school ways is more practice.
Yeah.
You and your partner just drill that rear naked choke 1,000 times. This is what we did. But then you're one, not going to be efficient at it. And 2, because you're not using the right muscles, and 2, you're going to have more wear and tear injuries.
Agree.
So 100%. I think it's super exciting to see how it kind of plays out, because this is the intro of this evolution. But then definitely, I would say follow Leo and see his progress in integrating FixFit to his teaching, and the mindset is completely different than what I've been accustomed to.
Yeah, and go have some fun too, because it's fun.
It is fun, and you gotta find what your style is. That's what I'm saying. It's not bad. It's not saying we still do workouts at our gym, but just kind of have that. Make sure you know what your goals are originally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Check it out. I mean, that's what the purpose of this podcast is, and all the content we try to create online is just to get the message out. And so if you go follow Grace Poway, or if you go just take some classes, you'll see it pretty quickly. You'll feel it right away, that it's not the same as other classes where you're just getting thrown into the fire right away.
Yeah. And
same thing with your gym. It's like, hey, everybody's name that walks in through the door. That's even different than most gyms, So that's where it kind of starts, and we were just showing people that there are other options for them out there. They don't have to just go keep trying other gyms or just keep picking something that's in your price range, It's stop putting numbers on it. If you really like it, if you're really passionate about it, you should go for it.
That's a key point too. If you're passionate about it, hopefully someone might listen to this, they have done jiu-jitsu and they quit.
Yeah.
Maybe a friend's convincing a friend that quit a long time ago, hey, try again.
Yeah.
It's come back with a different mindset.
Yeah.
don't, just because you blew your shoulder out in a white belt comp doesn't mean you have to compete.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't learn, it's like, hopefully that's the goal, because maybe they love jiu-jitsu and they lost a bunch of weight
Yeah.
and they hurt themselves and they quit. It's like, that's the worst. Or they don't know how to defend themselves, the whole deal. So
Or they should just stop crying.
stop crying. I'm surprised
stop
it took this
crying.
long to say stop crying. I'm still waiting on the stop crying t-shirts.
I know, we were
Yeah.
waiting. What's going on with those?
Oh,
They ready
man.
yet?
They gave me a too high price by now,
Oh.
but I'm still looking.
We'll work on it.
We'll work on it.
Yeah.
Stop crying. That's such
All
a
right.
shit
Stop
coaching tagline.
Let's plug some stuff for Leo. You can follow him at Stop Crying. So stop_crying, but 2 eyes. Or
2 eyes. Crying.
2 eyes. Crying.
It's the Portuguese crying.
You have a lot of members that will be watching this. Probably watching you on YouTube, man. You got to flex for them real quick.
He's flexing.
He's always flexing. Oh. So follow him. Take a class at Gracie Poway. It's right off Poway Road. Super friendly people. And then Mark might be there crying.
I go to open mat on Fridays.
Yeah.
I wish I had more time, but I have a lot of crying excuses. So, and baby, business, little things.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap this up. At Mark's on FixFit. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. At Cook Cairo. At FixFitness, guys. That's got a underscore. Fix_.
Fitness_guys.
Whew, man. It's a lot of plugging. But it'll all be in the description. Go follow it, like it, subscribe, review us. We need to start asking more for reviews.
Yeah.
So leave some more.
Review Leo's English. What the fuck did he say? I can't hear anything.
What the fuck is that?
YouTube might have some subtitles, man. All right, man. Thanks, Leo. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me, for everything that you're doing by now. Thanks so much. Thank you.
You want to do more bear crawls is what you're asking.
It's just the beginning. I think it's going to be good. The evolution of FixFit with mechanics and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Do you have any more tournaments to do, Leo?
Tournaments?
Yeah.
Next weekend.
Next weekend?
Yeah, San Diego Open.
Mark?
What? I'll be there.
No, I mean,
Not
are
to
you
compete.
strength
Shit.
and conditioning him?
Yeah, he had a workout Friday.
Just one?
He's busy.
Man, I'm old, man.
I'm old.
Crying.
All right, man. Oh, yeah, shout out. How many guys are going? Part of the Humaita team. I know Caps.
Bobby.
Me, Rodrigo, Juarez, Xandão, Dan,
Yeah, shout out
Bobby,
Cap. Bobby, nice.
Chloe.
Chloe, nice.
I don't know if Kate is going.
Nice little competition team, man. That's not
Yeah,
bad.
man.
It's just right down downtown, right? Saturday,
Yeah.
May 11th. We'll be
3
looking
black
out.
belts, a purple belt, a few blue, white.
Nice.
Should be good.
Everyone got their patches ready. All right, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, we're done.
Cool.
I think that was episode 10, Mark.